Hey, pleasant good afternoon, everybody. You're watching a presentation of the Stag Sports Network. It is the home opener and season opener for Fairfield Field Hockey as they kick off the 2026 season against the number 9th ranked Syracuse University Orange. Hey, everybody, JJ Duke here with you. Thanks for spending your Friday here with us. It is a humid afternoon on the Connecticut coastline, and for both of these teams, it's an opportunity to set the tempo for what they look to be a season to get back to the NCAA tournament. For Fairfield, they got to the dance, winning a game in the opening round before falling to eventual national finalist Princeton. Meanwhile, Syracuse, they went one better in the same region and losing to Princeton in the national quarterfinals. And JJ Duke here with you from University Field. Both of these teams coming in good form from preseason. Let's take a look at our players to watch for this afternoon's contest. And we start with the visitors and Syracuse, and that is Aubrey Turner, the sophomore from Pennsylvania, who was named to the ACC All-Preseason team, a second-team All-Region selection a year ago, and one of a number of players that we'll see on the field today that was just recently named to the NFHCA Division I watch list. Fairfield's honoree on the other side, that is Catalina Ness, the senior from Hamburg, Germany, a preseason All-CAA selection, and last year en route to Fairfield's second consecutive NEC tournament championship. She was the midfielder of the year, a goal and 6 assists, and she is one of the more experienced players for Laura Gebhardt coming into today. 60 matches played, 6 goals, 15 assists. It's not quite the Eras Tour for Fairfield Field Hockey, but it seems like it's a new era every year. 2 years ago, it was the last dance for legendary head coach Jackie Kane. Last year, it was the first year under the direction of Laura Gebhardt, and now a new era. It's Fairfield Field Hockey playing in the CAA 1 year before the rest of the program joins the Coastal Athletic Association. Fairfield, off of 2 consecutive NEC titles, they now start a new day in the CAA, and they're underway. They had the opening pushback. They're in the red jerseys, going from left to right on your screen. The orange in their road whites with the orange bottoms playing from right to left on your picture. And thanks for joining us here for what is the first of 3 consecutive home games for Fairfield Field Hockey, as they play a strong majority of their early season schedule. 6 of their first 7 games will be played right here on campus. Okay, the starting lineups for both of these teams. For Syracuse, who a season ago had a record of 13-7, they got to the ACC semifinals, including upsetting Wake Forest in the quarterfinal round. As the advantage play, Taylor Bigby now will get a free hit. She wears number 2, a player that represented the U.S. at the Under-21 Pan American Games. Hattie Madden, one of the captains, wears number 4. Belle Vandepaz wears 6. Bo Madden, the twin sister of Hattie, wears number 7. Jovi Weaver, a first-year, wears 13. Sammy Goen, 15. Jess Liddell, 17. Ava Brewer, 24. Turner, as we mentioned, wears 28. And Jesse Iceland, the senior from Amsterdam, is in between the sticks for the Orange. Outstanding goalie, first-team All-Region selection, and top 20 in the country in goals against at a 1.35. Will be possession to Fairfield. We'll take a look at their starters. As you see, Paige Jackson in goal, the St. Louis native, played 3 games last season, had a 1-0 record, and earned the win against Merrimack in conference play. Then in the field, you have Riley Lalou, one of a couple of grad students on the Fairfield roster this year. She enters in today's action with 15 career goals. Maggie Dowd getting the start after playing 5 matches a season ago. She really impressed in preseason. Coach Gebhardt was high on her work rate and the energy and enthusiasm she brought to the table from the first day of preseason. She wears the number 9 jersey. Camille Perlov wears 10 as she gets whistled for the foul. Kylie Corcoran wears 13. Catherine Fitzgerald, who had that flying day in the NEC semifinals against Ryder with a pair of goals, she wears 14. Ness wears 16. Connie Hoffman up front wears 17. Kaylin Fogelson, 18. Alice Peferi in the back, 21. And Cortland Schumacher wears 24. A Fairfield team that won 16 matches last year and went perfect 9-0 in NEC play. This is a team that only just lost once at home, including hosting the conference tournament, and doing so in triumphant fashion, both literally and figuratively. Figuratively because they won it. Literally, they did not allow a shot on goal across the entire tournament until the final few minutes of the final. Attacking a bit of a high style with their press as Bo Madden able to split two Fairfield defenders, but the pass coolly intercepted by Schumacher. She's got Perloff ahead of her off to her right, but Cortland continues to push. There was a little bit of a bump in the back, but our umpire says that was fine. And the pass from Sammy Goen goes out. And they'll be coming back with Fairfield. Really good start for Schumacher, who, when I spoke with Coach Gebhardt yesterday, really high again on just the direction that she pushes the team. Someone that will put in the work. You'll hear her voice, but it's very much the effort that leads. That one towards Hoffman gets knocked down, a little bit of a stinger as well. Turner loses out. And the outstanding sophomore Kaylin Fogelson picks it up. 8 goals last year in the freshman campaign for Kaylin. A Norwalk, Connecticut native, which is about 15 minutes down the road. That is before traffic on a Friday afternoon. Free hit not controlled by Lalou across the way, and it'll go back over to the visitors. Just the 4th ever meeting between these two teams. They played up in Syracuse last season, a 5-2 victory for the Orange. That came after Syracuse nearly tied a single-game program record for goals in a game, where they put 15 past Lock Haven. And Fairfield executing a couple of APCs, attack penalty corners, losing 5-2, but just in the 2nd ever game under Coach Gebhardt. A lot of positives to take. Great aerial down the line, but neither Lalou or Perloff can reach. I expect a lot of running from Riley over the start, someone that will just put in the hard miles. As Fairfield now, something that they really wanted to enforce in their game last season, force opponents to play to their tempo. A lot of high press, forced a lot of mistakes. Good ball towards Hoffman, but just off of her stick. But even off of losing possession, the counter press has always been something that Fairfield have brought to the table. That is a foul on Syracuse, and Carson Beatty, who wears 20. Ness, aerial into the circle, but that is towards no one in a red jersey. Yeah, this is a little bit of a different wrinkle than what we saw from Fairfield last year. A lot of aerial in the first 5.5 minutes. Good skill here on this near side from Elisa Carvajal, the first year from Santiago, Chile. Ness, though, with the interception. Yeah, really good press coming from the visitors. Carvajal wins it and then gets the free hit just outside the 23. And ahead now with Viva Franken. Franken, the sophomore from Den Haag in the Netherlands. Player didn't see the field last season for Syracuse, and this is a really changed squad for head coach Lynn Farquhar, now in year number 4 leading the Orange. This is a team that has 10 first-year players, 10 second-year players, and of the 15 newcomers, there's only a handful of players that saw time on the field. It's a team that saw 8 graduate and 5 more depart. And a team that was top 5 in the country in assists per game at 3.5, and top 10 in the country in points per game at well over 9. A team that was high-octane offense, especially early on in the season. This group won their first 6 games, that being Syracuse last year, and outscored their opponents by a whopping margin of 30-5. And even if you take away that 15-0 victory over Lock Haven, that's still averaging 3 goals per game in the next 5. A great interception by Fitzgerald, getting there ahead of Bo Madden. Madden able to intercept, and that's a foul. Fitzgerald knocks down Ava Brewer. Brewer, a first-year player from Fredericksburg, Virginia. Really fascinating story where she started her high school career in the States, in Virginia, and then played in New Zealand for a few years in a youth international. That's a foot off of Emily Carney, another player that Coach Gebhardt was really high on the work that was brought into preseason. Carney didn't see action last year, trying to get up to the speed of the game from the high school to the collegiate level, but put in the work in the preseason and earned her right to be on the field here on this opening day. Great tackling from Alice Peferi. They'll be back for Syracuse at the 23. Good right side attack from Syracuse, but Fairfield able to cut down the baseline. This is sent into the circle and well intercepted by Kylie Corcoran. But immediately won back, and now Syracuse trying to attack and get to the baseline. It's sent to the circle. Instead comes all the way through. There was no touch on the way through. Now Fairfield might have a chance to break here with Camille Perloff, player that was part of the Senior Nexus program during the summer. An opportunity for players, especially at this level, to try and earn their way to either the youth national team setup or the full national team setup, as that is going to be a foul and a hard whistle, and it's going to be the first card of the match. It'll be a green card. The clock should be stopped. They'll reset that back to a couple of seconds, as Allie Snyder was the one that picked up the green card. I guess I'll just keep the time as it were, but nonetheless, Fairfield will go up a player for the first time in this match. Ness now to Elise Wanchizin, sends it into the circle. That was destined for Perloff. Intercepted, though, by Grace O'Connor, player who started her career at Drexel, team that already has played their first game of the season, by the way, losing to Maryland 3-0. Later on in this game, we will take a look at the other teams in CAA action, as Fairfield will start their league campaign in a few weeks' time on the 18th against Drexel. Perloff. Carney sends it into the circle. Not a bad area. The shot goes in. Fairfield strike first. It was a mistake from Syracuse in clearing their lines, and Amanda Dressel gets the goal. Amanda Dressel, who had 3 goals last season, scored in back-to-back games against Merrimack and Stonehill. Hey, it might not have been completely from the run of play, but a miscue in the back from the visitors, and Fairfield, a team that scored early and often last season, they jumped out to the early advantage here. So a Fairfield team who last season outscored their opponents 23-8 in first quarters alone, wanting to play from in front. Establishing that high press, yes, a mistake from Syracuse, it has to be said, but still, you have to be opportunistic, and when you're playing a top 10 team in the country, you have to finish off your chances. Pass behind to Caroline Brickley, one of the 3 transfers for Fairfield. Brickley, who previously played at St. Joseph in the A10. Part of that team that got to the national championship game a few seasons ago before falling to Northwestern. That goal also comes player up as well. Still sitting for another 20 seconds is Allie Snyder. Fairfield will get a free hit over by the corner. Lalou always instigating and trying to make things happen. Yeah, good work by Ness. Oh no, the referee said that this is obstruction and will go the other way, as we are now back to even strength as Taylor Bigby comes onto the field. Yeah, this is exactly where Fairfield want their opponents to play the ball into that pocket when the press is on, and the midfielders will just step in, intercept, and break. Players are certainly swarming, and they are continually jumping on anything. And you're going to expect this really anywhere throughout the early portion of the season. Coach Gebhardt said the first couple of weeks are kind of like the evaluation period. You're figuring out exactly what your team is going to be. You're still figuring out the right systems, the right shape within your formation. Personnel also can change at times, but still, and this is Coach Farquhar chiming in, saying it is a results-based business. We are trying to enjoy ourselves in this early season, but you're going to see some mistakes. And when you can capitalize on those chances, it's usually a good thing. And positive things will only come from it. And that's where Fairfield, on this press, you can see how many red jerseys are in the attacking half of the field. That nearly was taken by Brickley, but the pass goes out. You're getting a look now at Hadley Hoffsmith, another one of the transfers, the previous Penn State player who was recruited by Laura Gebhardt when she was with the Nittany Lions before moving over to the Connecticut coastline. Another player that brought in that work rate early on in the preseason. Foul on Fogelson. Again, the lone tally coming from Fairfield's Amanda Dressel. That goal in the 10th minute of action. There has no assist that has been given to that. As Fairfield win the ball back right around midfield, and they'll just make changes. Just coming off Bryn Andrus, the first year from New Jersey, getting some early run. One of a couple of players that the coaching staff were high on as first-year athletes, Alexa Clark being another that could be seeing some time. Brickley getting that out wide to Fogelson. A chance to attack down the left with 100 seconds to go here in this opening quarter. And for a Fairfield team that went 9-1 at home last year, that lone loss coming to UConn, who are nationally ranked, this is very much familiar territory for the Stags. In fact, over the last number of seasons, Fairfield, they've posted nearly a 70 win percentage at home here at University Field, going all the way back to the 2018 season. Oh, that's a great ball from Alice Piferi, and now Catalina Ness. A little bit behind Schumacher, but she'll reset things out of the back with Maggie Dowd. It's a composed start as well for the Fairfield number 9. Fogelson, that's a great area, but a better interception. It was a good run from Fitzgerald and nearly paid off. Sammy Goen was the one that intercepted at the right moment. Fitzgerald not able to keep that on. And Syracuse can reset with just under a half minute to play. Only just the one shot in it thus far, but Fairfield have had more of the chances. Not too many circle entries as well for either team. Syracuse will be just happy to see out the last few seconds here for a team that got off to a 6-match winning streak to begin 2025. They're the ones that are chasing. As Fairfield lead after 1 quarter of play, a 10th minute goal from Amanda Dressel is the difference thus far. Stay with us, much more to come as you're watching Fairfield Field Hockey on the Stag Sports Network.
AI is everywhere. Organizations use it to make smarter, data-driven decisions. At Fairfield University's Dolan School of Business, AI is woven into every part of the curriculum, guided by expert faculty, hands-on learning, and a focus on ethical impact. Dolan students see AI not as something to fear, but as a tool to unlock human potential. Bridge technical knowledge with business insight to thrive in an AI-driven world, today and for the greater good of tomorrow. Unlock your potential with Dolan AI.
And move your right foot. There you go.
This young girl's breakthrough, just being a kid,
You got this.
was made possible by another breakthrough. The discovery of a game-changing drug that's delaying the onset of type 1 diabetes for years to come. That's the pioneering research of Yale School of Medicine delivered through Yale New Haven Health. Together, we're powering breakthroughs with the greatest of care.
Fairfield University's Egan School of Nursing and Health Studies is ranked among the top nursing schools in the nation, blending the depth of a Jesuit education with cutting-edge simulation technology. Challenging coursework, combined with clinical experience, offers students the benefit of practical application in real-world healthcare settings. Fairfield Egan prepares nurses and healthcare workers as highly skilled, compassionate, and ethical leaders, well-equipped to make a positive difference in their patients' lives. Lead with purpose at Fairfield Egan.
One quarter in the books here from University Field. Fairfield leading by 1-0 here on the Stag Sports Network. You're getting a look at the brain trust of this 2026 squad. Laura Gebhardt in her second season alongside Kaylin Long. Peyton Ron back as a goalie coach, and Martina Giacchino now joining the squad. A team that has certainly, put in the work, but they're enjoying their process right now. A team that finished last season ranked 20th in the country, not ranked to start this season. However, the Pitch Session Podcast People's Poll, the people have spoken, and Fairfield are receiving votes. The third highest in that poll, by the way, only ranks 18. The NFHCA poll ranks 20. So put it all things considered, Fairfield are there or thereabouts. And, of course, if you can get an early lead against a nationally ranked and a top 10 side, an ACC squad, doing a lot of good things here. As Fairfield will begin possession with quarter number 2. Again, just the one shot in it. That was Amanda Dressel scoring in the 10th minute for Fairfield. A nice run from Camille Perloff, but a better tackle. And a chance now for the visitors to break. That is Jess Liddell, the first year from Ascot, Berkshire, England. Former England Youth International. Kaylin Fogelson into the circle, but a good tackle from Goen. Number 15, the sophomore from Virginia, but Fairfield maintained possession. Fairfield, a lot of the possession in that opening quarter, but not too many entries into the circle. Fogelson nearly got in there just a second ago. Mentioned with Fairfield last season, jumping on teams early. They outscored their opponents 23-8 in just first quarter alone, and then 42-19 in first halves alone. And then you say, well, did they ever drop off? But Fairfield actually jumped on teams early in second halves where whatever instructions came from the coaching staff, Fairfield had a plus 13 in third quarters at 16-3. This is sent into the circle. Really nice control. The shot just goes wide, but it's a corner to come as Connie Hoffman wins the whistle. And the APC unit for the first time today will go to work. A Fairfield team, unofficially, I went through it this morning, checking on the corners. 29 goals scored off 193 corners. It's about a 15% conversion rate, but the Stags picked them up in bunches last year. Second most corners per game in the country at 8 3/4. Now there are changes across the circle. The Castles, Ness, and now Hoffsmith. Alice Piferi will be the insert. Pilar Mengati was a main source of the offense with her sweep last season. She graduated after garnering All-American honors. But Fairfield always dangerous from these set pieces. It comes now to Hoffman, who will strike, and it's saved. Iceland with her first action, and it will be coming out. First stop of the afternoon for Jessie Iceland, who last year had a save percentage at 23 and made as many as 9 saves in a game. That was against Wake Forest in the ACC tournament last year. And a great aerial as well, as Aubrey Turner is on her way, but the pass behind Hattie Madden. There was a touch off of a Fairfield stick, so it will stay with the visitors. Now Fairfield don't have a drag flick, so smart by the goalkeeper just to stay low and take away the boards. Good save from Paige Jackson on the other end, still being fought for inside the circle, and it's a corner now coming for the visitors. Well, the first tests for both goalies. A moment ago, it was Iceland off of a corner, and then Jackson comes up with a stop from the run of play. But now the APC unit for Syracuse will go to work. Syracuse off corners last season scored 28 off 123. It's a conversion rate of 22. When these two teams played last season, both scored a pair of corners. Bit of a pause before play can resume as some of the players had to go find their gloves. Now, usually only have about 40 seconds or so where the ref or the umpire would say you have to get on with it. But the first real opportunity for Syracuse to try and respond. It comes to Liddell. It's knocked down. Dangerous. Another corner to come. The umpire is going to immediately bring play to a halt. As Alice Piferi shaken up after taking that. That's the reason why you have the face protection and the gloves on. One of the first players out on the defensive penalty corner unit. Now we'll do it again. So it was Liddell on the first. She'll get it again. Drag flick. Scores! Jess Liddell ties it at 1. Right into the corner, not stopping those. And the first year has her first career goal in a Syracuse jersey. Well, both teams excelled from the restart last season. There's no real surprise that both teams got good looks off corners here in Game 1 of 2026. And you bet that perhaps some of the game plan from Coach Farquhar in the buildup was, you know you're going to have an untested goalie for Fairfield. Try to get shots off whenever the opportunity is. You can make it scrappy a little bit in addition to your finesse and style game. But ask a question of Paige Jackson. It took Syracuse a little while to get that going, but now they have done. The umpire, my apologies. The umpire will bring this back to restart just inside the 23. If I say ref too often, been calling a lot more soccer over the last few weeks. I will get there. Great work by Fitzgerald to get it out wide. Chance for Fairfield to get baseline down the left. This will stay with the Stags. Oh, no, excuse me. It was last off of a Fairfield player. The Stags will set up their press as Perloff doing a really nice job forcing just one lane from the pass. Fogelson with the foul. Good cutout by Ness. This will stay, though, with Syracuse, a foot on Fairfield. You could see Syracuse are really trying to play through Fairfield. The Stags are quite content to just clog up the center of the field and allow Syracuse to play out wide. Fairfield always have excelled in having great speed in those wide positions, both on the offensive and defensive front. That pass from Brewer goes all the way through. Pass deflected out into touch. He'll stay with Fairfield, though, as intended again for Hoffsmith. Operating off the left. That's dangerous, and yeah, this will go back. It should be going the other way. That's correct, as Emily Carney whistled. She can't quite believe it. Now the umpires really got to get control of where the ball's got to be played from. Past 5 minutes here in this second quarter. Jess Liddell off of a corner tied things up for Syracuse. Syracuse will be spending the weekend in New England and also CAA opposition. They'll play Northeastern on Sunday, a team that they've faced off a little bit more regularly against. This is just the fourth ever meeting between these programs and the first here on Fairfield's campus in a quarter century. Only 2001 was the only other time that these two teams have played here. That was a victory for the visitors by 5-0. In just the now 3+ meetings, Fairfield have only mustered 4 total goals, including the one scored today from Amanda Dressel. But again, Fairfield able to get their press up as Lalou trying to chase it down, forcing Ava Brewer to reset. Oh, but it's a good ball to unlock Allie Snyder. And even with a heavy touch, Viva Franken can win it back and push forward. Bo Madden now playing in match number 60 in her career. The twins out of Lancashire in England. Bo with a couple of assists last year. Second team All-Region selection 2 seasons ago. It was her sister Hattie who was part of the All-Region team last year with 9 goals and an assist. This is sent into the circle, but a good interception by Hadley Hoffsmith. As Fairfield without the services of Nora Hellman for a couple of weeks, coming back from a injury and surgery in the spring, going into the summer, but it shouldn't be too long before we see the number 12 for the Stags back out there. That ball ended up staying on, and Hoffman nearly gets to it. Free hit for Syracuse, and you can see really the urgency starting to pick up whenever they get free hits. They're trying to push that tempo a little bit and catch Fairfield a little weary. In the early season, you've been working on your fitness over the last couple of weeks of preseason, but game fitness, a complete different entity. Both of these teams have played a couple of exhibitions and scrimmages in the build-up. Fairfield facing former NEC rivals in Wagner and Sacred Heart. Coach Gebhardt said, yeah, a lot to learn from those games. You try to rotate, figure out again who's best in your systems. This is going to be a whistle. Okay, I thought it was a hard whistle, but just only a free hit. Otherwise, it would have been Hoffman who would have been going off. Ball swept into the circle, and that one goes off the post. It stays in. Jackson kicks it away, and the rebound is put home. Jovi Weaver, I believe it was, right place, right time, and the first year with her first goal in a Syracuse jersey. It was a ball that was just sent into the circle. Jackson let that one go, thinking it was wide of the mark. It clanked off the post, and eventually it was put home on the reverse. And the player who put away 58 goals during her time at Palmyra Area High School, getting her first in a Syracuse jersey, the player that was named to the Field Hockey Analyst Division I Rookie Watch List, showing her worth, and that's a pair of young players. And again, you're going to hear that a lot for Syracuse. Youth trying to contribute offensively. I'm not quite sure for Jackson's perspective if she thought that one was just going to go straight into touch and it'll be a free hit coming out or something along those lines, but it was a real late reaction, it has to be said. And it wasn't quite that the Fairfield defense turned off, but all of a sudden the ball bounced right back off the post, and yeah, right place, right time, and finish off your opportunities. That's where I brought about with the mistakes. Be opportunistic and capitalize when you get there. So 2 goals in the quarter for Syracuse. Liddell earlier. That was in the 18th minute. In the 25th minute from Weaver. That's a very heavy touch, but Kylie Corcoran stayed back but wins it eventually. Now Fairfield have numbers on the counter, but Fitzgerald loses out. That is an outstanding tackle. And here comes Syracuse. This is Grace Ann McCooey, the former Princeton player. Gets it head. Chance here to make it 3, but Jackson says no. Aubrey Turner was right there. The number 28 was through on goal, but Jackson comes up with save number 2. Well, mark that one down with about 4:10 left in quarter number 2. Fairfield find a way to get back into this. That was a true breakaway for the All-ACC selection in the preseason poll. Player that started off last year in fine form with a multi-goal game against Lock Haven and also had the 2 goals against Wake Forest in the ACC tournament, which was a real upset. That Wake Forest team, who were led by Mia Schoenbeck, who just finished up her campaign with the U.S. in the FIH Women's World Cup in Belgium and the Netherlands. Syracuse coming away with the result, and that really kind of propelled them into the conversation to have a good seed in the NCAA tournament. They weren't one of the seeded teams, but they got that called the 2-3 draw. And you're playing the non-seeded team in that 4-team pod. And Syracuse, who then went on to beat Liberty in the first round in a shootout before losing to the Tigers. Under 3 minutes to play now in the first half. This is sent down the right side for Elise Wanchizan. Fairfield have not had a lot of baseline attacks down the right. Now Hoffman, did she take it to 5? Well, I don't think she did, but either way, the ball is not settled. Dowd. Chance to reset. Corcoran, heavy tackle from Belle Von de Paz. Fairfield trying to play quickly, taking a page out of Syracuse book off the free hit. Good tackling by Ness, and she wins it back. There's an advantage being played. Ness able to keep it on the baseline. Finds Fogelson, who's looking for a corner, but we'll go the other way. But that's a type of tenacity that you will get from Catalina Ness. Just persistent in her pursuit to get the ball back. Minute 40 left in this first half. Fairfield led after 1. Syracuse with a pair of goals in quarter number 2. Syracuse also with all 6 of their shot attempts coming in this second quarter. Remember their first goal in APC, the second chance of it. Fitzgerald had it and then takes it off Taylor Bigby. Perloff into the circle. Oh, that's a great ball to find Ness in acres of space. Deflection just goes wide. Oh, that was a real good opportunity as Camille Perloff doing the right thing, looking to try and play it off of a foot. It went all the way through towards Ness, who had time and space. I think it actually hit one of her own teammates. Nonetheless, Fairfield trying to finish the quarter as they mean to go on. Maybe one more chance to send one into the circle, see if he can generate a corner. Foul on Syracuse. Fairfield have to go now with 18 seconds. Corcoran and Ariel. 5 not given. Someone needs to get a ball in here to 10 seconds. Hoffman. Syracuse asking 5 yards not taken. Hoffman into the circle, and the horn will sound. And that will do it for this first half. Fairfield scored early from Amanda Dressel. However, Syracuse with goals from Jess Liddell and then Jovi Weaver. But just a few minutes before the end of the half, gives Syracuse, the number 9 team in the country, a 2-1 advantage. We'll step aside for halftime. Be back in a few minutes. You're watching Fairfield Field Hockey on the Stag Sports Network.
In an unpredictable world where every moment matters, imagine the peace of mind that comes from knowing your loved ones, lifestyle, and business are all protected. At Meridian Risk Management, we offer tailored solutions, whether for personal, commercial, or benefits insurance. We are here to safeguard what you value most, so you can embrace every adventure ahead. Meridian Risk Management, because your legacy deserves protection.
Fairfield University's Egan School of Nursing and Health Studies is ranked among the top nursing schools in the nation, blending the depth of a Jesuit education with cutting-edge simulation technology. Challenging coursework, combined with clinical experience, offers students the benefit of practical application in real-world healthcare settings. Fairfield Egan prepares nurses and healthcare workers as highly skilled, compassionate, and ethical leaders, well-equipped to make a positive difference in their patients' lives. Lead with purpose at Fairfield Egan.
AI is everywhere. Organizations use it to make smarter, data-driven decisions. At Fairfield University's Dolan School of Business, AI is woven into every part of the curriculum, guided by expert faculty, hands-on learning, and a focus on ethical impact. Dolan students see AI not as something to fear, but as a tool to unlock human potential. Bridge technical knowledge with business insight to thrive in an AI-driven world, today and for the greater good of tomorrow. Unlock your potential with Dolan AI.
We're sorry that we only serve crispy, crunchy, juicy chicken. We're sorry that we only use the best ingredients. We're sorry that other chicken sandwiches just don't do it anymore. We're sorry that it's so good.
The best chicken sandwich I've ever had.
Right foot. There you go.
This young girl's breakthrough, just being a
You
kid,
got this.
was made possible
Nice.
by another breakthrough. The discovery of a game-changing drug that's delaying the onset of type 1 diabetes for years to come. That's the pioneering research of Yale School of Medicine delivered through Yale New Haven Health. Together, we're powering breakthroughs with the greatest of care.
Fairfield University's Egan School of Nursing and Health Studies is ranked among the top nursing schools in the nation, blending the depth of a Jesuit education with cutting-edge simulation technology. Challenging coursework, combined with clinical experience, offers students the benefit of practical application in real-world healthcare settings. Fairfield Egan prepares nurses and healthcare workers as highly skilled, compassionate, and ethical leaders, well-equipped to make a positive difference in their patients' lives. Lead with purpose at Fairfield Egan.
AI is everywhere. Organizations use it to make smarter, data-driven decisions. At Fairfield University's Dolan School of Business, AI is woven into every part of the curriculum, guided by expert faculty, hands-on learning, and a focus on ethical impact. Dolan students see AI not as something to fear, but as a tool to unlock human potential. Bridge technical knowledge with business insight to thrive in an AI-driven world, today and for the greater good of tomorrow. Unlock your potential with Dolan AI.
We're sorry that we only serve crispy, crunchy, juicy chicken. We're sorry that we only use the best ingredients. We're sorry that other chicken sandwiches just don't do it anymore. We're sorry that it's so good.
The best chicken sandwich I've ever had.
And move your right foot. There you go.
This young girl's breakthrough, just being a
You
kid,
got this.
was made possible
Nice.
by another breakthrough. The discovery of a game-changing drug that's delaying the onset of type 1 diabetes for years to come. That's the pioneering research of Yale School of Medicine delivered through Yale New Haven Health. Together, we're powering breakthroughs with the greatest of care.
Welcome back here to University Field on the campus of Fairfield University. A pleasant good afternoon to some of the coaches and players of Fairfield women's basketball checking out and supporting all the Stags programs here on a lovely Fairfield Friday on the Connecticut coastline. Your score, Syracuse 2, Fairfield 1. This is game number 1 for both of these teams. Fairfield striking early inside of 10 minutes from Amanda Dressel. And there was a goal-scoring change, by the way, in the first tally. Aubrey Turner has been now credited with the goal, getting a piece off the Jess Liddell shot. So it's now Turner, the player who netted 7 last year, getting the equalizer, and then Jovi Weaver tying things up with just under 6 minutes to play in the first half. Let's take a look at the schedules coming up for both of these teams. First, for the 9th-ranked Orange, they will stay up in New England and face another CAA opponent, that being Northeastern. On Sunday, that game will be a noon start, and then they will take part once again in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. That will be down in New Jersey, where they will take on Ohio State on Friday the 4th, and then 17th-ranked Rutgers on the 6th before they take on Bucknell on the 13th to wrap up their 5-match road trip to begin their season. Their first home game is on the 18th of September against the Riverhawks of UMass Lowell. Meanwhile, for Fairfield, they will stay at home, as I mentioned. After today, they will be back here on University Field on Sunday to take on Holy Cross. That will be a 12 p.m. start. A week later to welcome in former NEC foe LIU, also a noon start, before making the short drive to New Haven to take on Yale under the lights at Johnson Field. On the 11th, they'll host Brown. And then after that, it is CAA play, and Drexel are the first opponents for the Stags in their new conference, which would be not an unfrequent thing that Fairfield have done. They have played in a handful of conferences during their time sponsoring field hockey. They're in the Patriot League from 1996 through 04, the NEC for a couple of years, then nearly a decade in America East. They go to the MAC when they sponsored, now of course the Metro, for 4 years, then back to the NEC before now being in the CAA. Water cannons off. The defensive penalty corner gear move behind each goal. We are ready to go as Syracuse will restart action here. Curious to see how both teams come out to begin quarter number 3. As I mentioned, Fairfield last season were a team that really heeded the instructions of their coaches at halftime. They outscored their opponents 16-3 in third quarters cumulative from last season. they started off the game really brightly, and not to say that Fairfield struggled in quarter number 2. Syracuse just took their chances and put them away. That was last knocked off the stick of Taylor Bigby, a sophomore from Rocky Point, New York. One of a number of the Field Hockey Analysts Division I players to watch for the season. Also as part of the NFHCA Division I watch list. Bigby, one of 5 different players, as Ness is into the corner, but able to find her way out with Alice Peferi. But Bigby wins it back. Stopped by Ness. And Syracuse entering the season ranked number 9 in the country. They finished at the 10 spot last year. Both of these teams there or thereabouts from where they finished last year. Fairfield, they're not ranked this year to start. Number 20 team in the country to finish last season. But as I mentioned, the Pitch Session podcast, the People's Poll, giving Fairfield receiving votes in the 3rd highest. That is a trip as Fogelson goes down. One other game involving CAA teams in action right now, Hofstra and Ryder down on Long Island, level at 1 at halftime. Everybody in action today. Already 2 finals from CAA opposition, or future opponents, I should say. Drexel losing to Maryland by 3-0. William & Mary falling 7-0 to Duke. As Fairfield attacking on the baseline here. A chance across towards Camille Perloff. Turns, fires, kicked away by Iceland. Fairfield bench though screaming for a corner. They didn't appeal on the field. Perloff gets found and immediately back towards the circle. Knocked down and will come out. There is actually one interesting little tie between Fairfield and Duke in terms of the field hockey game, where Duke standout Elena McVeigh is the younger sister of former MAC Pitcher of the Year Colin McVeigh. Elena representing the U.S. at the under-21 level and a preseason All-ACC selection. A great touch by Fitzgerald, sends it into the circle. A back stick, and this will come out. Possession back to Syracuse. As I mentioned, the preseason poll coming out for both of these conferences, and Syracuse having Turner on that preseason list, which is headlined by the outstanding Mia Schoenbeck from Wake Forest, the conference offensive player of the year, one of a number of ACC products that played for the U.S. women's national team in the FIH Women's World Cup currently going on out in Belgium and the Netherlands. The U.S. finishing their classification round yesterday, falling to England by 3-1. But a really solid tournament for David Passmore's team, all things considered, winning 3 matches. Also drawing Argentina to start. That Argentina team who knocked off Australia yesterday will face one of the hosts, the Netherlands, in the final. Though if you're Belgium, the co-host of that tournament, it's still a little bit of a salty proposition to stomach after that video review that wiped a goal off the board for Belgium that would have equalized the game late on. The Netherlands and Argentina will play off in the final this weekend. Fitzgerald, a bit of a heavy touch, not able to take it. But a good interception by Connie Hoffman. However, she just let it go off of her stick, and Liddell wins it back. Alice Peferi with the interception. Someone that was an absolute rock at the back for Fairfield last year, and also so influential as the primary insert on APCs. Dowd not able to connect with Fogelson, but Kalen not giving up on it, forcing Syracuse to build out of the back. That is a dangerous ball as well, as now Fairfield can fully press. Bo Madden surrounded by 3 Stags. Yeah, good work. Now Fairfield can break. Lalou able to guide it to Fogelson. Corcoran, that's a good step, and now Fitzgerald has gotten through. Fitzgerald, this is where she scored in the NEC semis. An absolute rocket on a reverse. Not able to control it completely. It's a good move that was started by Kylie Corcoran stepping through. Again, Fairfield, they're mixing and matching a little bit in terms of who fills in at that center back position, with Nor Hellman still a couple of weeks away from returning. But I love that step from Corcoran with Catalina Ness now actually dropping in between the outside backs. Oh, it's not a good pass, and Perloff takes it away. Camille straight through goal. Perloff turns. Can she get a shot off? She does, and it's just wide of the mark. Really well defended by Elisa Carvajal. But that spoils the or spares the blushes, I should say, for Syracuse, because they played themselves into danger. And Perloff just was not able to get enough separation from the defender to get a shot off. But that was something that Fairfield really worked on last season under the coaching staff, was can you be more progressive and try to get shots, be gritty at times, play it off the pads, look for rebounds, not just necessarily always looking for feet and get corners, because that's that evolution of the attack and get it to the next level. Perloff did the right thing to try and create space. It just never really quite came for her. Shots right now even at 6. All 6 efforts for Syracuse came in that last quarter. They haven't gotten inside the attack 23 here in quarter number 3. Fairfield resetting out of the back. Ness just sending it the length down, but there was no willing runner at the moment as Caroline Brickley was late joining into the play. Well, this is going to be possession to Syracuse, as Hoffman thought that she had won it back for a second. Both of these teams, though, going fairly deep into their reserves, even on match day number 1. Play twice in 3 days regularly in this sport. But both coaches giving everybody opportunities, and I have to say that the majority of the players have not put too many feet wrong. Syracuse now a chance to attack it. This is sent into the circle. Can it settle? It cannot. And this will come out a dangerous swing from Grace Ann McCooey. Now the player, again, grad transfer in from Princeton. Really fascinating story on McCooey. Of course, part of that team that got all the way to the national championship game. But McCooey also owns her own and runs her own business called Instant Replay, a clothing company that's on a mission to give female athletes the gear that they need at affordable prices and designed specifically for the athletes. And when I spoke with Coach Farquhar about Grace Ann specifically, and she said, well, not only does she bring the great work rate on the field and the academic side off the field, but also just has the mind for, the whole grand scheme of things, and has really been on board with taking on ideas from her teammates and helping her own business and grow it. What do the players need, and how can she, with her company, help build on that? McCooey and the rest of her group have to get back now. As Fairfield inside their own 23 as Catalina Ness wires it towards the circle and trapped down by Bo Madden. And Madden, who has played a very solid match today. Again, start number 52, match number 60 in a Syracuse jersey. Her twin sister Hattie, 56 games, all but 1 have been from the start. Chance out for Hadley Hoffsmith to break. Fairfield asking for 5 and also a card. The foul was given, but the pass towards Brickley not on the wavelength. And a few Fairfield coaches heads up for a moment, wondering what could have been. A good press once again from Fairfield as Amanda Dressel, the goal scorer, wins it back, trying to slot it through towards Lalou, split her own 2 teammates with Lalou and Emily Carney close by, but now Syracuse can look to break down this near channel. Here is one of the goal scorers in Aubrey Turner. Ahead with Jovi Weaver. Gets baseline, sends it back across. Turner dances around the goalie, but interference and obstruction. We go the other way. It was a nifty move from Aubrey Turner. Jackson was flailing around to try and make herself as big as possible. But that was a nice move from back to front. Turner so dangerous in and around the crucial scoring area. But now Kaylin Fogelson, a chance to dance by a defender. Make that two. She's got the switch, and it's a great one to Brickley. Has players ahead, and a foul just outside the circle. Really good skill there from Kaylin Fogelson, the NEC Rookie of the Year from 1 season ago. Just never afraid to try things. It's a free hit just outside the 16. Ness once again gets fouled. Now it wants Shizin into the circle and stopped nicely. Now it's Bo Madden once again. 3:20 left in this quarter. Good interception. Now a chance for Bryn Andrus to break. It's a long run for Carson Beatty. She makes it, though. But look at Riley Lalou chasing back. That is the energy that this Fairfield coaching staff want from their players. If you give up possession, so be it. Get back and defend. Get into shape and force your opponent to play to the places that you want the ball to go to. And that's what Lalou did. And even on Chizin, okay, sure, she doesn't win it there, but she forced a deflection into an area where Fairfield can play through, and now Fitzgerald gets obstructed. And Catherine can break, and there's 3 in the circle. That one just past the reach of Kearney. Fairfield are pushing now. They're in the ascendancy and looking to try and level things here. And that actually went out right in the corner, so Fairfield can go full press. In fact, all but 2 players are in the attacking half of the field. Great control by Turner. Brings that down with a couple of defenders close by. And from back to front, here comes Syracuse. Ball into the circle, goes past everybody. And Fairfield will not quite get off the hook there. They had no one really to defend in that area, but there was no one that was anywhere close to making that back post move. And with 1:40 left to go in quarter number 3, Fairfield now have to be very diligent in playing from back to front. And that's what they will do here with Kearney, but that's a dangerous pass through the middle. Fortunate that the deflection takes it towards Ness. And now Hoffman can turn. A full field switch could have been played on. Deflected as it came off the stick of the Fairfield attacker. Now Bo Madden. Just never seems rushed whenever she's in possession. Head on a swivel, always looking, trying to find space. Not so much a player, whether it's for herself or to pick apart a pass. Now Sammy Goen. Viva Franca. And we're coming out. Good work by Peferi. Fairfield bench happy about that. Dangerous few seconds here for both of these teams. Now Syracuse can apply a bit of a press. They did send 4 up. Fairfield able to play through. Fogelson has it knocked off of her stick. And Hadley Hoff-Smith played 9 matches for Penn State last year. We'll just go back safekeeping with Peferi. Not the pass that she wanted to return it to. Straight out. Go in. And that will do it for quarter number 3. So as we enter the period, now exit the period, we will send it to the 4th when we come back in a moment. As you're watching Fairfield Field Hockey on the Stag Sports Network, it's Syracuse 2, Stags 1.
In an unpredictable world where every moment matters, imagine the peace of mind that comes from knowing your loved ones, lifestyle, and business are all protected. At Meridian Risk Management, we offer tailored solutions, whether for personal, commercial, or benefits insurance. We are here to safeguard what you value most, so you can embrace every adventure ahead. Meridian Risk Management, because your legacy deserves protection.
Well, you can see Coach Gebhardt going through the final instructions. Maybe our camera guys got a little too close to some of the instructions that she was diagramming out for her team. Nonetheless, it's been a really good quality of standard for both of these teams. Fairfield scored the opener from Amanda Dressel in minute number 9. Syracuse getting goals in quarter number 2 from Aubrey Turner and Jovi Weaver in minutes 18 and 25. Now I also have to track something. I apologize, didn't recognize that Syracuse made a goalie change at halftime. Tana King now in between the posts. That's on me, folks. Apologies for that one. Didn't quite see it. So King replacing Iceland, who made 1 save in 30 minutes. King on 1 save as well. But Fairfield trying to push for an equalizer. And it's kind of crazy to think, for the years that I've been calling Fairfield field hockey, they have had a lot of good caliber of opponent come here, a couple of times in ACC play, but sometimes games are a little bit more heavy on possession of the ranked team or the power conference team. Fairfield have played a top 10 team in the country, fairly even thus far. Of course, as I say that, Syracuse on the break here early as Turner gets denied. It was slipped through, and Aubrey Turner gets denied by Paige Jackson as she sprawls out to her right and comes up with a top drawer save. It's her 4th of the match. Well, for all the plaudits I was giving for Fairfield and playing to their standard and staying right with a team that got to the national quarterfinal round, that was a moment of class and a little slip ball through, and Aubrey Turner nearly getting her 2nd of the day. But sometimes you also need good goaltending to see you through in a match. There's a hard whistle from the officials, but no card was given. Fairfield can afford themselves the time to get everybody forward as Lice Peferi seeing all Syracuse players bunked in almost inside their 23. Vogelson, it's a brilliant move. Kalen towards goal, deflected, knocked down, and just wide. Well, Fairfield have a referral. A number of their bench players are asking to use it. None did. Now the multi-ball system comes into play. That was a great move. First off by Kalen Vogelson. Camille Perloff was hovering in the area on the deflection. Off the aerial, it will stay with Syracuse. But the interception from Maggie Dowd, who has done herself real justice in this, her first career start, and second career start, first at home in 6th game. Stayed right with a couple of really quality attackers, especially on that side, Hattie Madden. That's going to only give you confidence going forward, we'll say that much. Madden gets fouled by Ness, and she'll try and play quickly into the circle, but 5 was not taken. It'll come back to Fairfield. Shots right now, 8-6 in favor of the visitors. Both of these teams will be facing a few more ranked opponents over the course of the season. Of course, in Syracuse case, all but 3 ACC teams are ranked inside the top 20 in the country. For Fairfield, they'll play Yale in a couple of weeks' time, ranked 16th. Monmouth 18 and UConn 11 at the end of the season. Of course, Monmouth, the preseason favorites, but did not win the conference title. You see, it's Drexel who upset Monmouth 3-2 in the championship game, and that's where the tournament will be played this season down in the city of brotherly love. The rankings won't change for a couple of weeks' time, as in this sport, you go 2 weeks before the next poll. There's a foul on Fairfield just outside the circle, allows Syracuse a chance to attack forward. Great work by Perloff to knock it loose. Camille, she'll make that. Has just Fogelson with her. Those two led the line to get out of their own end. Yeah, regardless of the result here today, both teams definitely have given themselves a good platform to build on for the next couple of weeks. And for Fairfield's case, hanging with a top 10 team in the country, hopefully the voters will have seen that and take that into consideration. Albeit, of course, in this sport, you have to have a 500 or better record to be ranked, but still, something to keep in the back of the old head. Dowd now has a pocket pass and goes to Hoffman. Field is a little narrow at the moment, so has to reverse back with Hadley Hoffsmith. 10 minutes now to go in quarter number 4. Dowd. Yeah, good decision there. Looked like she wanted to play the big switch, but elects to keep it on the line as now Cortland Schumacher into the attack. However, hustled off the ball, and Bo Madden will take it away. Oh, that's a collision. This should be possession to Fairfield, and it is. And Dowd absorbing the contact, winning possession back for her team. Bryn Andrus, you see sprinting on immediately into the attack, and that rewarding the words of the coach, Coach Gebhardt, very high on Bryn in the performances that she put in the preseason, and now getting some key opportunities down the stretch. Yes, game 1, but it's a tight game. Great balance by Hoffman to find a player. This is a corner. Yep, Fairfield will get it. A great job by Connie Hoffman to find Hadley Hoffsmith while trying to get up after slipping. Fitzgerald wins the APC, and now Fairfield a prime opportunity, a team who converted 15% of their corners last year but scored 29. They've only had one this game, but can they tie things up? So Alice Peferi will take the slow walk over to insert. The castles of Hoffsmith and Ness, with Brickley and Hoffman close by. Keep an eye on Andrus, the short. And not a good stop from Ness. She is able to recover. Brickley, swing and a miss. And Syracuse will break. Well, break, as I should say, only just getting out of their own end. That was a lazy tackle, to be fair to Franken. But to be fair to her, it's humid. It's game 1 of the season. The legs are going quickly. But if nothing else, she allows her team to reset after that defensive penalty corner, and Aubrey Turner takes it away. Only just has, or excuse me, that's not Turner, my apologies. That's Carson Beatty. Has options ahead of her. Foul on Fairfield. 8 minutes left to go in the final stanza. Well, Fairfield had the APC, but not getting anything from it. Again, the goal from Jovi Weaver right now in the 25th minute, that is the difference in this game. A foot off Andrus, it will stay with Syracuse. Jess Liddell to restart. Going. Elisa Carvajal out wide, but off the stick of Ava Brewer. And Fairfield with Just under half of the quarter remaining, can reset once again. Also loving to see across the way a lot of members of various Fairfield fall teams that are not practicing, hanging out. See a fair few members of the men's soccer team across the way, coming off of that triumphant clean sheet of UConn last night. And a 1-0 victory up in Stores. They'll open their home schedule on Tuesday against Lehigh. I think I saw women's soccer across the way. We highlighted the women's basketball coaching staff on site. Wall School not in session yet. A really nice turnout here. Getting to see two quality teams getting after it on day one of the 2026 season. Here come the Stags with Lalou. Into the circle, but well cut out, and it had to be timed nicely by Liddell. Otherwise, Fairfield had two players. But here's Turner. That ball asking way too much of Jovi Weaver. Now, situationally speaking, one would have to keep an eye on the Fairfield coaching staff. When would they signal for Paige Jackson to exit the goal and go for the extra attacker? Probably about another minute or two away from doing that. A little bit different, of course, in ice hockey. You have to have play stop before you can make that goalie change. It's also a lot harder for teams to score with the goalie out because the ball has to be in the circle. But, of course, still a little ways to go before that. As a chance here, swept on goal, knocked wide by Jackson. Another save for Page. That's 5 now. Denying Weaver. Would have been the second for the first year. Not a good ball down the left. Syracuse were looking for someone to get on the baseline. 5 minutes left to go. Shots 9 for Syracuse, 6 for Fairfield. Stags really haven't had too many shots in the second half. In fact, just the pair, both coming early on. Foul outside the circle. But they've had a lot of possession. That's high and will go out the other way. And you can see Kylie Corcoran barking at everybody saying, get up the field. There's a ton of positive encouragement coming from both benches down below us. Still trying to push. Hoffsmith doesn't quite get the connection she was hoping for on the pass. Here comes Franken. Loses out though. Really solid game from Emily Carney as well, making her collegiate debut. And Brickley thought that she had it at the right spot. This will come back. 4 minutes left now. I'm seeing now from down below, Emily Carney's just been pushed a little bit higher up the field. Yeah, why not? And again, love the attitude here. Play top teams, try to beat top teams, especially on the your own field. And Fairfield are going to make a goalie change. So with 3:43 left, here comes Paige Jackson. Yeah, I like the decision. Why not go for it at this point? As Jackson a little hesitant and jogging off the field. Really good game from her. A really solid corner. Nothing she could do. Sure, the second one probably won't be too fond of seeing again for allowing a ball that she thought was going out. Plays off the post and just a good finish. But if it wasn't for a couple of brilliant saves from her to keep it at 2-1, this game could be done and dusted. Alice does enough to get back and at least stop the progress. Corcoran got fouled a couple of times. Hard whistle comes. Card coming out as well. It's a green card. So it's now 11-on-9. Belvandepaz will sit 2 minutes. Oh, if there is ever a chance for Fairfield to go for broke here, this is it. But with that being said, they can afford to be patient right now. Build in your attack. Elise Wanshizin Looked like she was obstructed. Referee said very good tackle. But now if you're Syracuse, just get the ball as far away from your goal as possible. That's a foul on Dowd. And here come the visitors. Bigby ahead, switching sides temporarily. Beats another defender, still to goal. Got it wrong at the end. It was knocked off of a Fairfield player, but Taylor Bigby making up the yards, pretty much going from inside. Yeah, it wasn't quite inside the 16, but about 16 yards away from the baseline, getting into the circle. Now again, for those thinking ice hockey standards, just shoot the ball. You can't. You have to have a touch inside the circle. But you can win a corner, and without a goalie, albeit for the neutral comical at times, it's very difficult to defend. Syracuse at the mentality right now of possession. Can't lose if you don't give the ball up. This ball fired towards goal, knocked down, foot on Syracuse. But you can see 35 seconds and the clock continues to tick, and now the referee with no ball returning into play. They'll stop it with 1:50 left. This works out for the Stags because they can get a couple of changes. Brickley and Carney off, Fitzgerald and Ness on. Oh, really well done from Hoffsmith. And here goes Connie Hoffman. Great switch to Ness. Two players in the circle. Foul just outside the area as Camille took it down. 10 seconds left on the green card to Van de Paz. Corcoran knocked down. Fogelson there. Lulu as well. Fogelson back to Fitzgerald, who shoots. Knocked down. Still once again for Fitzgerald. We're back to even strength in terms of 11 players aside. Still Fairfield with the extra player with Jackson out. This goes through to Perloff. Back to Wanchizin. In it goes, but deflected. Everyone was expecting a whistle, but Wanchizin again into the circle, and there was no one close by at the near post. 45 seconds left to go. And Fairfield will just send everybody forward on the press. That gets through to Beatty. And Fitzgerald has to play it into touch. And Carson will be in no rush to send this back forward. Good effort by Lelou. But it's got to go here for Fairfield, down to 12 seconds. And Hoffsmith just sends it down. The ball is not where it needed to be, and the clock's going to run out. And that's going to do it. Syracuse, after giving up the early goal to Amanda Dressel in the 10th minute, they equalize in the 18th from Aubrey Turner, get the winner from Jovi Weaver. The first year bagging the winner with just 5:56 left in quarter number 2. They hold out with Fairfield pulling the goalie with just under 4 minutes to play. Couple of key stops from Paige Jackson to keep it at 2-1. All in all, a quality match for day one of the season between the top 10 squad in the country and Fairfield, who are now into their first season in the CAA. But they look the part after exiting the NEC with a pair of conference championships. Fairfield will be back in action on Sunday at noon when they take on Holy Cross. Meanwhile, Syracuse will travel up to Boston to take on Northeastern. We'll have that Fairfield match against Holy Cross on Sunday right here on the Stag Sports Network via the Fairfield Athletics YouTube page. For our entire crew, I'm JJ Duke saying so long and enjoy the rest of your Friday. Your final score, Syracuse 2, Fairfield 1.